Former ActionSA Gauteng chairperson Bongani Baloyi has blamed a lack of political consciousness for his decision to leave the organisation. He announced his resignation today after days of speculation about his future. Last week, ActionSA said that Baloyi and the party leader Herman Mashaba had encountered, quote, irreconcilable differences on the running of Gauteng structures. Baloyi says that he harbours no ill feelings toward the organisation. ActionSA in the last few minutes has issued a statement confirming that Funzi Ngobeni will replace Baloyi as the Gauteng chairperson. Well, let's speak now to the former Gauteng leader of ActionSA, Bongani Baloyi. A very good evening to you, sir. I'm grateful for your time. So, just over a year ago, you were excited to be joining ActionSA. Now it's all come to an end. How did the wheels come off so quickly?
Well, firstly, let me congratulate Funzi Ngobeni for his appointment. I think he's a person who's competent, who can manage, and who's level-headed as well. So I must congratulate him for his appointment. Look, what happened as a consequence of the engagement with the leadership of the party, Herman Mashaba specifically, was that an offer was tabled to me, or a proposal. And the basis for that proposal was, as he said to me, that our relationship had deteriorated, number one. Number two, that the level of trust between me and him has also deteriorated, and that to him confirmed that our relationship has deteriorated, and therefore he wants to remove me as the the chairperson of the province, and subsequently appoint me as the national chairperson, the national spokesperson, which I still don't think it makes sense. If you are saying to me, alleging that our relationship of trust and has deteriorated, and you still want to appoint me in a position that works with the president on a day-to-day basis, for me it was just nonsensical. So I really did not understand any of these things. And I felt that it's important that as leaders, you must smell the coffee. When you go into a space and you want to add value because of my experience and just what I've achieved in terms of public governance and in public institutions, I want to add value. And I went into the space wanting to add value. And I've done the best I can within ActionSA and made a significant impact in shaping the strategic thrust document, South African Dream, the political academy, and also advising them how to launch branches. I have done all of those things,
okay,
and that is my legacy that I leave there. As to what the irreconcilable differences are, I cannot tell you, because there was never a conversation where any allegation was put to me, where I had to respond, where I was accused of anything. None of that ever happened, so I was taken aback and surprised by it. And only Herman Mashaba can explain what those irreconcilable differences are.
What did you differ on as far as the running of the Gauteng structures specifically? Because the party says that is where the difference came from, and ultimately the breakdown in the relationship.
Well, the Gauteng structures, and as per the PEC, we adopted a posture that would aggressively lobby for the devolvement of power from national leaders, because currently there's too much power with national leaders as opposed to power residing in structures, number one. Number two, we're pushing aggressively for a better level of engagement with provinces, better authority, and also to be able to govern our own affairs as a province, and also have a meaningful voice in provincial matters and coalitions as well. We're pushing quite aggressive, and we're actually institutionalized the party using the benefit of my experience being in public governance, where we're building the governance, solidifying processes, systems, protocol, and how do we plan together, implement together. So we're really starting to function like a solid block and a solid institution. And I don't understand, there's never been differences around that. In fact, from my experience, there was then a deeper level of understanding insofar as how you launch branches, what you should do, how you move in this case. So which was of value to the party. So I don't understand what else could have been these irreconcilable differences. When there was an issue in Tshwane about disbandment of the Tshwane structure, I took it to the PEC. I disclosed all information to the PEC, including some documents that made people uncomfortable, because if we claim to be a party that's about transparency and ethical behavior, we don't choose when to be ethical and not to be transparent. We do it all the time, even when it's uncomfortable for us to do so.
When were people wanting to choose? What are the issues around which they were wanting to choose or were uncomfortable about being ethical at all times?
No, I am suggesting that when people engage, or when leaders start to claim that we're not happy with how you did 1, 2, 3, and the basis for that has led to a breakdown in trust. And my justification is that when you embark on a process to determine whether you disband a structure or not, you don't choose what to be transparent with. Everything that people submit, you must apply your mind. And when I release information to the executive of the province, I know I'm speaking to leaders who will take due care to protect the party's image and the information. So I've never at any stage acted in any way that's against national leadership. I've never at any stage tried to move in a way that undermines national leadership. In fact, at all times, I've been working in the interest of our president, advancing his vision and assisting him to move from the point of an idea to a reality through building of solid, sustainable structures.
Do you think he runs the party, as his personal enterprise? Is that what's gone on here, that you wanted, as you were saying, to take some of the power from national government and empower the provinces more? Is that why he was uncomfortable with your presence in the organization?
I'm not sure. I think only he can respond to that question and give substance, because I've never had the benefit of being engaged, or even an accusation put to me, nothing at all. So unfortunately, I cannot respond.
So you were appointed, right, as ActionSA's Gauteng leader, not elected. So surely the party reserves the right to place you wherever it wishes to do, as would happen with any other person who is appointed.
The party reserves the right to apply its mind and determine where to appoint its talent. But in the process, the party must take due care to be able to demonstrate that, one, if I say I'm moving you from one point to the next point, there must be some demonstrable action that we have tried to take to show you your misgivings, your ill performance, and how to ensure that there's corrective behavior. In any normal public governance institution, well, at least where I'm from and my experience, that is a process of natural justice and due process. You don't wake up tomorrow and confront somebody and say, I don't trust you. On what basis? I don't know. No one has said those things. So a process needs to follow. And what ActionSA must apply its mind on is articulating these processes and defining the limitation and scope of individuals. But equally, at what stage does the relevant executive must come in to apply its mind on the decision? Because assuming all leaders are Jesuses or gods is not going to help. The law is written not for those who are the best leaders, but for the worst of the despots, to prevent the worst possible outcome. So I really think that thinking, ActionSA must apply its mind carefully. It's now their business, but I can only add advice that they must think carefully about that. Was
it a clash of the egos? Did you and Herman Mashaba fall out because you both wanted to be right at all costs?
You see, had I been afforded a platform to respond to allegations or to respond to his view about what I have allegedly done, I would be able to respond. But because I don't know, I haven't got a clue. That opportunity was not given to me. I never had that conversation. I don't know. I honestly cannot respond to that question.
And the party, as I was saying earlier, insists that the differences emanate from your different takes on how the structures in Gauteng should run. They wanted you to become national spokesperson. You are saying you had issue with that because it's a role that would require you to work with the leader of the party daily. Do you also think that going from that provincial chair to national spokesperson, do you see that as a role that is beneath you, career-wise?
I don't see it as a role that's beneath me. But you can't express the fact that, according to you, our relationship has deteriorated. And there's a deficit of trust between me and you, which I don't know, which is the first time I hear of this thing. And then want to move me closer to you in a position that works day in, day out with the president. I cannot understand it. You can't express a level of unhappiness with what I'm doing and leading and performing. And when I have not even been shown any demonstrable objective performance measure to confirm if I'm not performing or not performing. So I have never received such an opportunity. So in my mind, at least to me, you must help me. Maybe this is acceptable to you. If someone says, I'm removing you from one position because I don't trust you and our relationship has deteriorated, and I'm appointing you to a position where you work with me every day. Does that make sense to you?
Well, maybe the closer you are, the more you would have bonded.
Then you must follow for some crutch logic. You must do better, Tembeki.
Let me ask you about something else, Bongani. You repeated today allegations around apparently a driver of Mr. Mashaba's who was basically investigating people in the party. What's gone on there, and is there actual proof to support that allegation?
That guy is busy. That guy is busy. You must speak to the regional chair of Tshwane, who was summoned to a meeting that happened at Herman's office. where he was asked to spy on me, to spy on John Moody, and to spy on Nasipi Moya. And the driver has actually confirmed that such a meeting happened. And in fact, the party took a decision that they'll just issue him with a written notice. The guy is a law unto himself. And I really think that Tembegile, you must really speak to the regional chair of Tshwane, who can tell you his ordeal and how this thing unfolded.
How did the spying happen? You say you were also spied on. What was it? Was it going through your cell phone, going through your documents, were you followed? What does it mean?
Apparently, as the man would boast to many different people when he was speaking to, when he was intoxicated, that now he is working with the Hawks, he is working with the South African Secret Service and some generals. So you need to firstly go and confirm if this fellow is a member of the Hawks or Secret Service, as he claims. And secondly, that he's got the capabilities from Hawks and Secret Service to intercept people's communications, to hack people's phones, as he was claiming, and intimidating people. So I really think that's something you need to watch carefully.
Mm. So do we expect the other people who you say were spied on to also follow your example and quit?
I don't know. My message to people who want to leave, it's important to leave on your basis. We joined this party to add value. I've added the value. I'm not going to destroy the party. That's why I'm quite clear that I don't have any issue with Herman Mashaba. He's the one who spoke about the issue of relationship that he's alleging. But there's nothing I can do in that regard. I wish everyone all the best who have embarked on this journey. Do your best. If you want to leave, please leave and don't hurt the party. And let's continue. We've got life to give here. And it's important for us to find a mechanism and a platform that is that can really adopt and be centered around the needs of the young people who are the majority of leaders in this country. It concerns me greatly that young people keep finding themselves in situations they can be cannon fodder or turned into little ice boys. And I really think now is the time for that to change. We must stand up and ensure that because we are the biggest shareholders in this country by population and the future, all these mess ups happening by these leaders is going to affect us significantly. It's important for young leaders to get into the ring and to contend with the best and ensure that we persuade and fight for our futures.
How will that take shape? What will the vehicle to achieve that goal be? Will you start your own political party or join perhaps an NGO?
Well, I don't know. I must go seek the agent counsel and wisdom of Unyas Newzroom Afrika. So that's where I'm going. Everything else will be clear after that.
You referenced your past experience and you said where you come from. Politically, that's the DA. Do you miss home?
No, my home, my brother, is where my mother is. Political
I mean your political home. Your former political home, because you said in your experience, do you find that things ran better in the DA?
You experience, with the benefit of experience, when you go into situations, you're able to extract that experience to implement and improve the way you are because of the benefit of the experience. It's an experience that no one can take away from me. It's an experience where I learned in as much as this experience. In fact, now I've got better experience. I've got an experience of working in a party which is established, and secondly, going into a party which is up and coming. So I think I really have a holistic experience, and that has enriched me.
Which is better?
Both have their evils.
And which has a longer list of evil?
Typically. These things, issues are many. These things are very complex, my brother. We must not reduce these things to simple man logic and things about just, under assessment of these. Both have their advantages and disadvantages.
Bongani Baloyi, good to speak to you. Former ActionSA Gauteng leader, seeing more of his thumb there towards the end, zooming from a car, I believe.